Okay, let's just dive right into this. If you're analyzing the global tech landscape today, especially if you're looking at it through the lens of a global technology investment firm, there's one massive trend you absolutely cannot ignore. And that's the sheer speed and depth of artificial intelligence integration happening all across China right now. Welcome to this explainer. Today, we aren't just sitting around talking about the theoretical future of AI. We're looking at a reality where the future has essentially already arrived. We're going to unpack how an entire society is shifting, starting from the grassroots level of middle school classrooms all the way up to commercial consumer markets. And we'll look at exactly what that means for global workforce pipelines.
You know, what's really fascinating here is the stark macro-level contrast. As we analyze global tech supremacy, we're seeing this massive split in how the technology is being handled. On one side, you have Washington and much of the West, right? And we're currently engaged in a very deliberate, often pretty cautious policy debate about the role of AI in daily life. But on the flip side, China is just racing to incorporate it across literally every facet of society. So for anyone tracking global technology markets, you're looking at two totally different environments. One is heavily debating the technology, while the other is aggressively, relentlessly deploying it. To really wrap our heads around this aggressive deployment, we have to look at the workforce pipeline. And in China, that pipeline is starting incredibly early. Over the last 3 years, there's been this massive tectonic shift in Chinese education. Take a private tutor named Yan Zhima, for example. Just 3 years ago, she actually had to convince skeptical parents that teaching their kids AI tools was even worth their time. But today, following the release of ChatGPT, her waitlist is absolutely out the door. What we're seeing is a youth education initiative that rivals and honestly probably outpaces a lot of Western corporate workforce development pipelines. These kids aren't just reading textbooks about AI, they're getting hands-on with it.
So you might be wondering, who exactly is in this pipeline? Well, let me introduce you to Candy Tang. She is literally 12 years old. Her big dream is to one day be the CEO of her own gaming company. Now, in a standard Western educational pipeline, a 12-year-old might just be learning basic coding syntax, right? But Candy, she's already out there actively building real things with artificial intelligence. I mean, just listen to her current portfolio. This isn't your standard theoretical school homework. She built a chat app that lets people talk to virtual friends. She helped build a highly practical reservation system for a local swimming pool. And she even put together an AI tool that connects people with doctors for Chinese medicine advice. These are real commercial applications. In fact, some students in these tutoring programs are actually making money from their skills right now. They're actively participating in the digital economy before they even hit high school.
This perfectly captures the mindset of this emerging workforce. Candy recently said, "If I have any problems, I can use AI to make an app to solve it." That is a completely foundational shift in problem solving. This kind of upskilling gives these students a huge advantage. And quick side note, it's worth mentioning that regular schools in China don't actually allow students to use AI to just do their homework for them, but they do allow them to use AI to check their homework. It's being embraced as a collaborative tool for continuous learning.
And Candy is definitely not an outlier here. Take Angela Wong, who's 14 years old. She actually asked her mom to sign her up for these extra AI tutoring courses. And then she immediately took those skills and built a fitness app called Zombie Run. The premise is super simple but honestly brilliant. If you stop running, a virtual zombie chases you. Again, we are seeing immediate, product-driven creation from teenagers.
When someone asked Angela if growing up surrounded by smart cities, facial recognition, and ubiquitous AI makes her at all uncomfortable, her response was incredibly telling for anyone trying to analyze consumer readiness. She just views it as her normal daily life. She believes that as AI integrates into the city will just get better. There's this extreme level of comfort. For this generation, AI isn't some imposing sci-fi disruptor. It's just a fundamental, everyday civic tool.
Section 1. AI everywhere. The consumer market.
All right, let's shift gears from the classroom pipeline to the broader consumer market. Because this aggressive push for AI adoption in the world's second biggest economy isn't just happening behind closed doors. It's happening right out in the open, out on the streets. If you visit Beijing right now, you can experience the sheer ubiquity of this technology firsthand. You can hail a cab, hop in the back seat, and suddenly realize there's absolutely no driver behind the wheel. The whole thing is navigated by AI. And this isn't some closed course test track. This is a live, commercial deployment on public roads.
And the commercialization on the hardware side is equally wild. You might actually remember the company Unitree going viral a while back for those videos of their robots doing synchronized martial arts. Well, today, you don't just watch them on the internet. You can literally walk into a local shopping mall and buy one right off the shelf. To put that into perspective, the price tag for a highly advanced humanoid robot starts at around $13,500, and you can grab a four-legged robotic dog starting at just $1,600. We're witnessing the rapid retail deployment and democratization of advanced robotics.
It even bleeds right into standard everyday hospitality. At the super popular Haidi Lao hot pot restaurant chain, your noodles and broth come with a side of robotic spectacle. They've fully integrated singing and dancing robot performers into the dining experience. They'll even have them roll right over to your table to do a birthday dance. It's totally normalizing human-robot interaction in the most casual settings you could possibly imagine. Section 2, Consumer Psychology and Risks.
So what's fueling all of this? What is the consumer psychology driving this massive trend, and what are the potential downsides of adopting something so rapidly across a whole society? Let's bring in some expert analysis here. Kyle Chan, who's a tech expert with the Brookings Institution, points out that the attitude in China isn't just that AI is the next big thing, it's that it's already here. AI agents are seamlessly woven into the most mundane, everyday Chinese services right now. Whether it's optimizing your food delivery routes, helping you buy tickets, or generating entire travel itineraries, the integration is incredibly frictionless and practically invisible to the end user.
Chan theorizes that this rapid takeoff comes down to a very specific market psychology, a uniquely high tolerance for risk. Both Chinese tech companies and Chinese consumers just possess a profound willingness to experiment with new, sometimes entirely unproven technology. They're willing to iterate in the wild, so to speak. Now, if you're a global technology investment firm, this environment provides a massive, real-world testing ground that's honestly very difficult to replicate in more heavily regulated or skeptical markets.
But of course, moving this fast does come with some genuine concerns. Local data scientist Jun Chung-Fun, who actually tutors students in AI himself, is very clear-eyed about the risks here. He warns that if kids are exposed to AI too young, without the right guidance, there's a huge risk of them relying on it indiscreetly or just way too heavily. His point is super pragmatic. The kids are going to use it anyway. If we don't teach them how to use it correctly, they're just going to do whatever they want.
Which brings us to the core societal consensus in China right now. In a lot of the world, our debate is still anchored on whether children should learn AI at all, or whether it should even be allowed in schools. In China, that debate is completely over. AI integration is viewed as an inevitable reality. The only question they have left is how fast they can learn it. Speed is the only variable that matters.
So, as we wrap this up, let's revisit 12-year-old Candy Tang for a second. When someone asked her if the rapid development of AI scares her, she offered this incredibly profound perspective for a kid. She said, "AI never scares me because I think AI is a tool. If I use AI, then I will be the scary person." She doesn't fear the technology at all. She fully intends to control it. She intrinsically understands that power belongs to the builder, not the bystander.
And I think that leaves us with a totally critical takeaway for anyone analyzing global markets, workforce pipelines, or honestly, even their own career. The technology is moving at breakneck speed, and entire generations are already treating it as a basic, everyday extension of their lives. So the real question isn't whether AI is going to reshape the world. It already is. The question is, what is your role going to be in that new world? AI is developing quickly. Will you upskill and use the tool, or will you let it use you? Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer today, and I'll catch you in the next one.